Welcome back to Mindful Moxies. In this episode, we'll uncover the power of recognizing your purpose, facing your fears, and boldly sharing your light with the world. Join us as we explore how doing the inner work leads to extraordinary impact. Let's go.
Be mindful of yourself, be mindful of your wealth, be mindful of your health. You need it, just take a breath, it's your life. Live it, be your best, stay box free with your mindful Moxies.
We are your Moxies, guiding you through the messy, real, and empowering journey of personal growth. Welcome back to Mindful Moxies. My name is Adrianna Foster.
And I am Luly B. Carreras.
And we are so excited to be here one more week. This has been awesome.
We're having we're having a little bit too much fun.
No, there is no such thing as too much fun.
True.
Honestly, for me, it's been great. And I really want to thank each and every one of you that have listened to our podcast, that have sent us your feedback, that have left reviews. Please do. Like, we are open for feedback.
Yes.
Like, whether you like it or you don't, just leave a review. Please
Yes.
let us know. And if you like it, leave a great review. And more importantly, share with your friends, because it's been awesome. I have a lot of clients that have told me that this is like their go-to now.
Yeah.
They're obsessed with it, that they listen to it every day, that they have felt inspired. They have felt, this is something that I have received a lot. They have felt heard and seen and understood.
Yeah.
That they can relate to us. And this is what we are here to do.
I think that's what makes this so special, is that is our intention, right? Is to share vulnerably. Like, we're kind of like laying it all out there.
Yes.
And we're also sharing so vulnerably, but we're also sharing so many of the things that we've learned, right? And again, we'll use the word that I love, which is to equip, right? Reminding everybody that we're right there with you in the goo and in the mess, in different stages and phases of our life, of our business, of our career. And the intention is to just ride along with you, to give you those tools, those tips, and also just share vulnerably. I think it's in that sharing that we can create that impact. And hopefully it inspires you to do the same in your family, in your career, in your business, and in your community.
Yes. And this is why we created Mindful Moxies. This is why the Luly B had this incredible idea with me, and I'm so grateful that you're here.
Yeah, me too. And this is like so easy. It's just it's very flowy.
Very flowy. It's
very
two friends
flowy.
talking about important things and having fun.
And having so much fun.
And by the way, congratulations for Spark.
Thank you.
Dude, like, wow.
This
is the only pitch that I know that can get every single year 350 plus women in a room, 350 plus women, passionate, committed, ready to go for it, ready to explore their passions, their gifts, and share them with the world, to connect. It's like a freaking high school reunion, but like the high school of love, the high school of the heart.
high school of love. Yeah,
I loved it. Congratulations. How do you feel?
I feel amazing. And I think so much of what I'm proud of is how bold I was this year. I was very, very bold, not only in the shares, but also in my requests, in my invitations. The reason why we have the people that we do is because I got on the phone and I was bold and I was courageous, and I picked up the phone and asked people like you, host a table.
Yes, yes. And it's honestly, it's a great opportunity also for us that admire you and follow you and want to support you, to also, bring our community together.
Right.
Like, for me, this is the second year that I host a Loud Table, and it's great because it's like a reunion, right? I haven't seen some of these women, in months. I had actually two of the women from my community that I haven't seen her in 2 years, because she took a class with me 2 years ago, and then, she kept on the community, but I haven't seen. So Spark was the place where we came together, we supported each other, we supported you. The speakers were great, the panels were great.
Thank you.
The interview was amazing. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I think we have an opportunity to do an episode coming up maybe in the next few months of the champion method, right?
Yes.
Of how is it that I get the 300 people in the room? What are the things that I do? Because I love to teach that. I love to share my secrets and the things I've learned. and tips that I have for filling a room for events, which could be so hard.
Yeah.
So I'd love to do an episode on that.
Oh my God, I'm in,
The
and I want to
champion
learn,
method.
and I know that a lot of people here would like to learn.
Yeah.
You know, how do you do this, and most importantly, you know, the grace in which you do it with.
Thank
like
you.
how you show up in such a wonderful way for all of us, and how all of us get to also be big and be bold and spark with you.
Thank you. I think that's probably one of the biggest compliments I've ever received was from you when you shared that. I think it was last year, Spark,
year.
that you said that you appreciate the fact that I can be a light, but I bring people on stage with me. I bring people alongside with me. And listen, I'm a human, right? Every once in a while, I'll have this inkling of like, oh my gosh, am I going to lose something? Or are they going to hire that person instead of me? I'm human, right? That happens to me too. But then I get to sit with those human feelings. And then I get to remember, like, it's so not about you, Luly. It's about the impact that you can create for others. And because I can switch it, I can then go back to the impact. And that is what matters to me. So I think that compliment that you gave me last year just kind of really resonated, and I thank you, because it was a beautiful one of like, you allow other people to shine. And there aren't a lot of people that do it and do it with such intention. So thank you. Thank you for honoring that.
It's true. And you don't I mean, you're welcome, but you don't have to, because it's true. Anybody that knows Luly knows that you grow with and through her. That is a very important part of what you do, not just as a professional, but as a human being. And we all know that. And that's why we hang out with you and we want to be at Spark. And then you give us the light for us to be bold as well. Yeah. You inspired us for us to be bold. I love to see all the women on Spark at least considering, some of these women have never considered that they could share their gifts.
Yes.
And the fact that at Spark, I get goosebumps, like, wow, I could actually do this. Like, I could go out and maybe not do an event of 350 women, because maybe that's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
But I could share my services. I could open up my company. I could, charge for my gift. Like, how awesome would that be? Because for us, it might be like, I've been an entrepreneur my entire life.
Right.
So for me, that's like a normal thing.
Right.
But for some people, that's a big deal.
That's a big deal. And that's actually our topic for today, which is stop hogging your gifts, bro. Who do you think you are? Right? Bro. Like, we're going to be real 305, real Miami. Dale, right. So this is what I know to be true. I know this happens a lot at the Boost table. This happens a lot in your Loud Women Nation community, where, especially as women, so many of us have been conditioned to believe that we need to be modest and we need to be kind and don't be dramatic and don't be over the top and don't be sassy and all these things. And there might be a place for that. There might be a time for those certain things. But when it comes to our business, when it comes to our career, when it comes to the gifts that we have, I believe that it is our duty and our responsibility to share them with this world. It is not a choice. You don't get to be like, well, today I'm gonna share my gifts and tomorrow I'm not. No. You were born with these gifts, and those gifts come in the form of skills and talents and abilities, and it is your responsibility, my friend. It is your responsibility to share them with this world. Who the hell do you think you are not to share those gifts with somebody?
Yeah.
Do not be a gift hog. Do not be a gift hog.
Hashtag stop it.
Stop it.
Stop hogging your gifts.
Stop hogging your gifts.
How effing, and this is probably why I love, Spark, because it is incredible to see, women that have never even spoken about incredible things and gifts that they have.
Yeah.
You have this segment, look, I get goosebumps, where you can get on stage and say, if you want to do XYZ, I'm your girl.
Yes.
And what I notice, I love to public speak, and I love to always get on mic and be like, pick me. But I like to sit back and see and give the opportunity to these women that maybe they've never done that before.
Right.
And see how they are bold and they're like, you know what, I'm going to get up and share that I do this publicly. That is so beautiful.
It's a beautiful declaration of your gifts and the connection that happens, because that's, you know, this morning when we were prepping, I said to you, you know, I was doing a text intro, you know, a friend of mine that needs something, and one of the boosties actually does the thing that she needs, and I sent the text, and like, that is, oh my gosh, that brings me so much joy to be able to connect people. And here is somebody who was bold enough to start a business when so many people in her life were like, but you really think you can make money, and you really think people are going to pay for that? And listen, it's not to say that it's easy, right? But what in your life that was worth it was easy?
No.
Let's think back at all the things in our life that we have or we've experienced that brought us so much joy, or this sense of achievement or accomplishment. I would think that majority of the time, maybe even 100% of the time, it was something that was not easy, right? And so remembering that, whether it is because you want to launch your business, or maybe it's to write your book, or maybe to Adriana's point, maybe it's getting up on stage and sharing what you do. And this doesn't come foolproof, right? I'm sure there are people that have maybe some different feedback to share about Spark. Maybe their experience wasn't like yours.
Right.
And I get to be okay with that. I get to be okay with not being for everybody, with somebody not liking a certain segment or not feeling a certain way, because they get to have an experience. And my prayer and my intention every time I do this, right? Because standing in front of 300 people and doing an event is extraordinarily hard. I mean, every year I just about quit 2 weeks before the event. I just want to quit.
Well, actually, I think you taught me that every time that you do a Spark, you know, before you do it, you take a week off.
Yeah.
Or you take a couple of days off.
Yeah.
Because it is so intense. But I really want to piggyback from what you were saying, because it's so powerful. I mean, I see this every single day. I could talk about this for an entire season.
Yes, you can.
Right? That is like my jam and what I absolutely adore. And if we think about it, because
she's taking us to the dark side now.
Dark side is coming.
This is the shadow part, people. But very important.
The proclaimed, self-proclaimed, what do we say, dark queen? No, shadow queen.
Shadow queen.
Yes. So basically, if you think about it, right, it is very important for us to understand why these things happen, and why is it that for some people it's so easy to get on stage and to share what they do, and for some people it's just super hard. And if you think about it, like you said, we live in a society where they have taught us that we get to be small so other people can be comfortable with us. Outside validation, outside approval, but most importantly, el famosísimo ¿qué dirán? Like, what are people going to say about this? I saw the other day a post that said, the best way to kill a dream is to introduce it to a closed mind. And that closed mind can be somebody that you know, somebody that's next to you, usually, you know, our parents, because they're trying to protect us from rejection. They are trying to protect us from experiencing defeat, failure, or our partners, because they are trying to protect us. If you think about it, it's always about trying to be protected. Or it doesn't have to be a person. It can be your inner child that in the past experienced a severe amount of rejection, humiliation, shame, and is trying to protect you from feeling that way again. So that closed mind can be somebody in your life, or it can be you. It can be those intrusive thoughts that tell you, this doesn't matter. There's already somebody else doing that. Nobody's going to want this. So why would I even go out there and get it? But what you don't know, or what we don't know, is that when we stop ourselves from sharing these gifts, from being loud, right? From expressing who we are, when we don't do it, we actually not only dishonor our gifts, we create a sense of unfulfillment that is like a little tiny drop of water that eventually will cut through and will charge you in the future. This is why we have so many people in our 40s, 50s doing the famous midlife crisis.
Right.
The famous midlife crisis is, I never shared my gifts. I was never able to express myself fully. So now I'm pissed. And I'm going to do it in the unhealthiest way possible, like cheating on my wife, cheating on my husband, doing drugs, quitting my job, going bankrupt, whatever that is, or buying a convertible. It doesn't matter, right? But why?
Such a good point. Such a good point.
Because I never got to share who I am. So when we hog our gifts, when we stop ourselves from expressing and giving our gifts, we dishonor ourselves, but also we dishonor the people that need our gifts. There is a line of people waiting for you to decide to break your silence and be loud and share what you do and help them. There's a line, there's a group of people waiting, and it can be thousands of people. So imagine what would have happened if Luly would have stayed in her comfort zone and she would have never done Spark. Imagine what would have happened if I would have stayed in my comfort zone and I would have never shared my music and my hypnotherapy and, you know, the ability of being whoever you want. Because this is the feedback that I get all the time with Loud Women Nation. Is like, seeing all the things that you've done gives me permission to actually want to do all these things and not feel like I have to be in a box.
Right.
So it's so important. It's such an important topic.
And I think also it could be thousands of people, or it could be dozens of people, or it could be a few people. You never know the ripple effect that you're going to create, right? I think about the little girl that's walking along the shore and sees all the starfish and, you know, is throwing a few starfish back into the ocean. And, you know, somebody says to her, but what are you doing? Is it really going to matter? There's so many starfish out here that need to be thrown back into the ocean. Is it really going to matter? And she takes a starfish, she throws it in the ocean, and she says, what mattered to that one? Right? And I think if we start to focus on that, like, who are our starfish? Yes. I can't serve all of the starfish, but I can serve a few, right? I'm getting chills. Yes. And I think you're right. What would the world have looked like had I stayed in my comfort zone? And that is not, by the way, to make myself important. It is to remember that I have gifts, and those gifts come in the form of skills, talents, and abilities. And it is my duty and my responsibility to share them with the world. And when I do, I inspire others. I give people permission
to do the same.
100%. And then there's this level of fulfillment and of joy that you cannot explain, that you cannot purchase, that a convertible or a trip or a jet cannot give you.
1,000%.
You know?
And I want to say something that I didn't want to interrupt you, but you said it's not to make myself important.
Right.
But here's the thing, though. You are important.
Yes.
You are important to me.
Yes.
You know why?
Thank you.
No, let's go through the thread, right? This is I really want you guys, if you're listening or watching, like, really pay attention to this. You are saying, I'm not saying this to make myself important, but guess what? You are important to me. Because without your Luly B Boost table, the program that you created, that you were bold enough, think about the story that you told us in one of the first episodes about how you were in a room full of people and you said, I want more. I don't want to be a marketing agency. That was your bold moment. Look, I'm getting goosebumps. In that moment, you said, you know what? I want more. I'm going to share my gifts. And you developed yourself. You followed purpose. You created an exercise for yourself that you were able to build Boost, which in that back then was called Now What? Remember?
That's right.
Yes?
Yes. Now What?
So you called me, we met.
Right.
And you called me and you invited me to the Now What table. And in your table, I was able to go through that exercise with you. I was able to make my choice and say, I don't want to be just a singer or just a hypnotherapist. I want to be all of it, because when I sing and I don't teach, I feel unfulfilled. When I teach and I don't sing, I feel fulfilled. So I want to make it all. But I am terrified of doing this, because if I'm a hypnotherapist, I'm going to lose credibility. If I'm a singer, I'm going to lose credibility. Right. Can you imagine that? Like, for people that know me now, I like, So imagine what would have happened if you were not in your loudness. If you were not sharing your gift, I would have stopped myself from sharing my gift. And that doesn't end there. So you were important for me, and you are important also for my clients, because all the women that I have impacted, that I've had the honor and the pleasure and the blessing of impacted throughout my 15 years of hypnotherapy and in courses and Loud Women Nation and all the things that I've done, if you are one of my clients and you're listening, I really want you to think about what would have happened if Luly would have never impacted me. I would have never impacted you. And then the women that were impacted by me, that now they're sharing their gifts boldly, they're going out there and living authentically and impacting other people, they would have never done that if it wasn't because you created that. So in that context, you are important. I am important. All of us are important. It is very important. Our gifts are extremely important.
Yeah.
And I say this, I cannot express this enough. And I say this all the time. Every time I'm speaking, I'm like, it is a tragedy. It is a big time tragedy. And I'm asking you right now to close your eyes. If you're driving, don't, but just connect with what I'm going to say. It is a tragedy every time that you deny yourself the permission to be loud and share your gift. It is a tragedy. People can die if you don't go out there and share your gift. And you might be like, well, how are people going to die if I don't go out there and, sell cotton candy? The ripple effect is beyond what you can see and what you can imagine. I just proved it to you right now. So every time that you decide to hog your gift, it's a tragedy.
You're being selfish.
Yes.
You're being a jerk. You are. Right? And thank you for the reminder of what what I said about being important, right? I think what I meant was to make myself superior, to put myself in this position, but you're absolutely right. I am important and my gifts are important and what I share. And by the way, it doesn't always come easily.
No.
You're seeing this and you're seeing like, wow, look at her. She's on stage and she has a couture dress and she's gorgeous and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but all of that took a lot of work.
A lot of years of hogging your gifts.
Yes.
Going through breaking the wall of I'm hogging my gifts. I can, because what a lot of people don't know, and I invite you to consider what would happen if I would do what I loved, if I was actually honest with the people around me. And I promise you that you're going to feel like you want to vomit. Yeah. Your body's going to cringe.
Multiple times,
because the process of sharing your gifts, it's painful. And that, my friend, comes from trauma. Trauma will stop you from feeling safe. Actually, I tell my clients this all the time. The more afraid you are, the closer you are to your truth.
I want to sing. I'm so happy you did instead. Yes.
It's a musical. It's like, this is my moment. I want to sing my song. Because the closer you are to your truth and your gift, the more afraid you will feel, the more inadequate you will feel, the more scared and confused you will feel, the more you will feel like something's pulling you to not do it. And I promise you, keep going.
Keep going.
Because
keep
that means that you are
swimming.
You are close to your truth.
You're closer to your truth. And that is true in the work that I do at the Boost table, right? I'm so excited. The doors to the Boost membership and enrollment for 2025 have officially opened. We had so many women say yes to themselves at Spark. And that's really what the invitation to Boost is. It's say yes to me. Say yes to yourself. I'm really proud of the fact that I've fused personal and professional development into this experience, right? And for 2025, what I'm really excited about is we created tiers so you can create your own journey, your own experience of how much of Luly, how much of community, how much of connection, how much of access to resources do you want? So I'm so thrilled, and I'm going to be bold, and I'm going to invite you to check it out. Head on over to Boost with Luly B, especially if you live in the South Florida area, and see if it's something that you think could benefit you. And like Adrianna said, if it's scary, let's pay attention to that.
Yes.
There might be the opportunity for you to finally receive the support and the love that you deserve so that you can build the life and the business that you deserve. You can finally start to share your gifts in the way that you've been called to share them. You know, I know for myself, I played small for so many years.
Yeah.
And I played small, and what that really means is I hogged my gifts.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to rock the boat. I didn't want people to not like me. I wanted to please everybody.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of times I didn't notice that that's what I was doing. I came up with all these great stories and all these great reasons why I was playing small. I didn't even identify that.
Yes.
But because I read the books, I do the resources, I do the hypnotherapy, I go in, I do the shadow work, I was able to catch it and be like, okay. And as I said, shared earlier a few minutes ago, I have those very human experiences. I'm not excused from those human feelings and those human emotions.
Because you had those human experiences is where you are right now.
Amen.
Because of those human experiences is that you are able to say, I got you. And not only she's got you, but she'll teach you how to get there. Because it is incredibly important to have not just a mentor, but a community that witnesses you. A really good friend of mine, a really good mentor of mine told me that the biggest gift that you can give to someone else is to be witnessed, to witness that person. Because shame, judgment, and this is from the dark side, shame, judgment, and all of those voices that keep you from sharing your gifts, that hog you from sharing your gifts, they thrive on secrecy. And there's many reasons why. I can give you right now all of the reasons, and don't believe me, like I always say, do your research. But shame, guilt, and all of these emotions live in the dark sides of your unconscious because they're very low frequencies. And when you share them out loud, when you share them in community, they die. And you open up the space for possibility. So this is why a table like Boost is so important, because first of all, it's a safe space. You have a safe mentor that creates a safe space, and you can share all of these emotions that are stopping you.
Yeah, such a good point.
Yeah, that are stopping you from being able to break those walls and share your gifts. So you have to find a community that supports you, that witnesses you, and that will give you the resources and the knowledge that you need to be able to move forward.
I couldn't agree more. And we often say, we joke, but I really mean it at the Boost table. I will hold your hair back while you vomit.
Yes.
Like, we will be there,
yes,
rubbing your back and holding your hair back during those great leaps, those great brave moments that you have. So here we go, mindful Moxies. Stop hogging your gifts. You are sitting on a treasure trove of gems, of skills, abilities, and talents, and the world needs you, and the world needs your light in only the way that you can do it, right? There might be there's thousands of coaches, there's thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people that do what I do, but nobody does it like me. There are thousands of hypnotherapists and singers and astrologers, but nobody does it quite like Adrianna. And that, when you can remember that and come back to that and say, who am I not to? How dare I not?
How dare I not?
And stay focused on the impact and stay focused on the purpose. It'll give you the chance and the opportunity to keep going.
Absolutely. And if you're listening to this episode, or you are watching this episode, is for a reason. Maybe this is the sign that you needed, that there is something within you, a little tiny voice that has been asking you to be released, and that tiny voice that has your gift will give you the biggest fulfillment and joy that you have ever experienced. We encourage you as your Moxies to explore it and find the path of fear, because that path will lead you to your truth. And that's it. Thank you so much, Moxies. We love you. We love you. We love you. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Adrianna Foster.
And I'm Luly Carreras.
And we will see you next week. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoy this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and visit mindfulmoxies.com to connect with us. See you next week.